The date is January 15th, 2026. This meeting for the Finance Committee for this Thursday is hereby called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman at Large Keith Larson.
Here.
Alderman Dan Barrero.
Here.
Alderman Edward J. Bug.
Here.
Vice Chair Carl Franco.
Here.
And Chairman Masiacos is present.
Thank you. Clerk, could you please read the approval of minutes?
25-1029, approval of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting held on December 11th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
I got a motion by Alderman Ed Buggs, second by Alderman Dan Barrero. If there's any questions, is all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to provide public comment?
No, we do not.
Or offer public comment? Okay, well, then clerk, we're just discussing this. Let the committee know that item 25-0196, informed this is a duplicate of a previous item that was approved by council on December 16th, 2025. So some type of a scrivener's error perhaps. So we will not be discussing this item here today. And I'm told it doesn't require a vote of any kind by the committee as well, of any kind of removed. So clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-0988, a resolution authorizing the execution of a Phase 2 design engineering supplement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. in the not-to-exceed amount of $42,829 and the appropriation of $42,829 of MFT funds for the Indian Trail, Ohio to Pennsbury Signal Modernization Project.
Good afternoon, Tim Widener with the Engineering Division. We talked about this project just before the holidays. We passed the Phase 3 agreements and also some land acquisition costs. So you should be familiar with it, but we're pretty much modernizing 5 traffic signals and doing some minor resurfacing where we haven't resurfaced Indian Trail before. What's before you is a Phase 2 engineering supplement. Basically, the original scope did not include temporary signals through the design. We thought that was the best route to take this construction. So pretty much all the cost is related to the temporary traffic signal design. So be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions by the committee? Alderman Dambrero.
I'd like to make the motion for approval.
Oh, all right. I have a motion for approval.
Second.
Second by Alderman Keith Larson. Any questions still on this agenda item? No? All right. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much, sir. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-1014, a resolution authorizing the execution of a license agreement with College of DuPage and 548 Foundation for space at 649 South River Street in Aurora, 60506.
Fantastic. I believe, oh, there she is. Well, welcome.
Great, thank you.
Excited to hear about this. I saw it on the agenda, so looking forward to your presentation.
Great, thank you so much, Chairperson Masiacos and Alder people. I'm Allison Lindberg. I'm the Director of Sustainability here in the Department of Economic Development at the City of Aurora, and I'm here to talk to you today about 25-1014. So what I'm going to talk about today is first I'm going to give a brief summary of the ordinance, and then I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the tenants that will be in the actual space, because I'm sure there will be questions about that. So essentially, the ordinance itself is a resolution that puts together a license agreement 3-way between the College of DuPage and the 548 Foundation to use the space at 649 South River Street. Now, this is the former Public Works Water and Sewer building, and it is currently vacant. They will be using the space for training and education, which I will explain in a moment. We have been working to just upgrade the space a little bit, first to get the correct occupancy use, and then also to upgrade the bathrooms to make them ADA accessible. One of the students that will be using the building is in a wheelchair, so this was a high priority for us. The ordinance itself will cover monthly charges for rent and utilities, and the term of the license agreement currently is just 5 months with the intention to renew annually. The reason that it goes through June 30th is because College of DuPage cannot sign something that goes beyond their funding cycle and their funding cycle goes through the end of June. There is the intention to be renewing this on an annual basis. So there is the option to renew in the license agreement. Also, because the College of DuPage is technically a government entity, that's why this is not an actual lease agreement, and it's considered an intergovernmental agreement, a license agreement between those three entities, including the City, College of DuPage, and 548 Foundation. We have been working extensively with legal on that. Because I'm sure this question will come up, the city is not obligated to provide any kind of financial assistance for the project itself. However, we will be providing support like promotion of the program and helping them with business partnerships, because that helps to meet economic development goals and sustainability goals. But currently, the city is not required to provide anything fiscal related to this program. So what this is it's the CEJA Workforce Development Hub. CEJA stands for Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. I'm sure you all have heard that mentioned many times here at Council. And Climate and Equitable Jobs Act was passed in September of 2021, so it's been around for a while. And the most important thing, I think, to take away from it today is that the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity at the state of Illinois is allocating $180 million annually to workforce development and community programs like the CEJA Workforce Hubs. And in the statute, they identified 3 communities across Illinois to create these hubs, of which Aurora was one of them. So this CEJA hub has already existed. They have already been providing some training programs, but they have not been able to find a location in Aurora specifically to host the training programs. So they've been doing them in other suburbs, kind of ad hoc, and they've been looking for a place. So that's what this space is intended to do, is actually make this hub actually be in Aurora. These are some of the key training areas. This is the minimum training that they provide. I think there's some on here that 548 provides that are not actually demonstrated here, but they provide training in the construction trades, including hand and power skills, solar installer training. I hear they also do EV installation. They do training for energy auditing, so that's auditing of buildings. And then they also provide other kinds of training like OSHA 10, CPR, first aid training. And they also provide bridge training, which helps them understand how to apply for jobs, how to go to job interviews, and kind of some of those soft skills like building their resumes and things like that. The sample program structure is about 180 hours of content, 5 hours every day for 7 weeks. So they run in basically 7-week cohorts, and then they go through a graduation. This is a sample program structure because they have others as well. And the workforce development is intended to assist individuals from environmental justice communities, and that is defined through CEJA itself, of which Aurora is considered an environmental justice community. It's also intended to assist individuals that are returning citizens, displaced energy workers, people that have been in the foster care system, and those just generally facing employment barriers. And they are paid 13 hours for each hour of training, so they receive payment for getting trained. And then they also offer services to really help them focus on the training, such as childcare, transportation assistance, even food support. So as I mentioned, they've been looking for a space to rent. They have been kind of ad hoc doing this, but the reason why this specific location works for them is because they're looking for classroom space, office space, and then what we're calling workshop space. So basically a place where they can plug in power tools, build small things, and then also they want to have some demonstration areas where they can practice installing solar panels and that sort of thing. So because this is a large warehouse space, this is really perfect for them, and they're very, very excited about having this be a permanent location for them to do this training. Just a couple of things. So there's the training aspect of this, and then there's the job pipeline aspect. So it's one thing to train individuals, but it's another thing to actually ensure that they're going to have jobs. So there are some things that we're working on that are already getting some of the CEJA graduates into the workforce. One of them is that the Habitat Green Freedom Smart community that's out on Jericho Road, Power Construction is already hiring CEJA graduates. We also have a number of solar installers here that are interested in working with the CEJA program to utilize their graduates. You'll probably be hearing about this later next week, but Progressive Solutions, which is a local company here in Aurora, they're looking at installing solar at the new Public Works building, and they're looking to actually use the 548 Foundation and some of their graduates on that building. And, you know, I'm here, I'm from sustainability. This meets some of the sustainability goals that we have here in the city, including reuse of buildings, including providing education and engagement, and then serving environmental justice and providing resiliency. So some of the long-term goals, CEJA can help us to help entrepreneurs, local ones, establish clean energy businesses. They are also, and we're going to be working together on this, creating a pipeline of small businesses that focus on clean energy projects. And then we're really trying to establish Aurora as a hub for clean energy business opportunity and education. So I wanted to show this timeline here. We've been working on this for a while. We've been trying to get them into this space since summer of last year, summer 2025. And you know, we've been working with many departments throughout the city to make this space workable for them. And we also started identifying other project partners and grants to cover the costs. As I mentioned, we've just been doing some minor renovations, including making an ADA compliant bathroom there. And then we're also working, as you all have seen as well, on some financing that can help with clean energy projects throughout the city, including CPACE. That's just so that there's an additional financing mechanism so that building owners will know they can receive financing, and then there will also be a workforce available for those projects. If you don't know already, we will be hosting the hub launch event for this project. So basically, the building will be ready on January 20th. You all are invited. We hope that you will come. And the CEJA Bridge program cohort did begin this week. They're not using the space yet because we don't have the lease agreement signed yet. However, they have a space through the end of this month, and that's why we're trying to get them in by February 1st. 548 will begin their cohort in a couple of weeks. And we are planning an additional expansion in this space, which will include an additional classroom, some more ADA compliant bathrooms, and workshop space. And we have identified, as I mentioned, some grants to help with that. We do not anticipate it costing the city any more funds except for a few additional architectural fees, which we already have had budgeted for. It is a city building. We had no architectural plans for the building before we started this project. And then in the long term, as I mentioned, we're trying to really make this a job creation program and to get some new businesses into the city of Aurora. So that's our long-term vision for the project. We would love for this to also be a learning center for the public to come in and understand how they can make their buildings more efficient, learn about solar, and all of those good things. So again, that's a lot of background for your job today, which is hopefully to approve this license agreement for these entities to utilize this space that the city currently is not using but is responsible for. And I would be happy to answer any of your questions.
Alderman Keith Larson.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is great to hear. I guess my main question is how can we help spread the word about this and get people enrolled in these programs, especially the ones coming up in the future that may not already have positions filled? And then I guess a follow-up question to that is, are these going to be running like back-to-back year-round, or are they going to be any breaks?
That's a great question, thank you. I am not as familiar with that program to understand if they're back-to-back, but I do believe there is usually a break. And to answer your question about how we can get the word out, I believe we already have something on our website that talks about the CJA workforce trainings and their availability, but we would be happy to send you all the links. And in the future, our team does plan on reaching out to all of you alder people because we would love to get more direct outreach into your wards where you think that it's appropriate.
Great, thank you.
Alderman Bug.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, long time coming. We're very excited. We've been talking about it at the Education Commission with all the high school superintendents and, of course, COD. So the one we're leaving out of all that is our institution right there, Waubonsee Community College. What is their role? Because I was not a part of that. We had a work group in the Education Commission, so they were working on it. I didn't know what, and I know COD was taking the lead, but I didn't know what, if anything, how Waubonsee was going to fit in that. So that was my first question.
Sure, that's a great question. My understanding is that COD has a partnership with all of the local entities like Waubonsee and that they are working together, but I don't know, I don't think they will be providing any direct training themselves. But yeah, that's a great question.
Okay.
Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. I can speak a little bit to Waubonsee's participation in this, only that because I've spoken to Dr. Knettel specifically about this when we met earlier this, late last year. They had the opportunity to also apply to be Aurora's hub. They made the decision to go ahead and let COD be the main person on this as they were considering it, but to have a partnership with them in this way that they can funnel interested students into that as they get people that might not fit some of their other programming, or this would be a good start for them to then continue at Waubonsee afterwards, once they kind of get on their feet, have some income, and can do that as well. So, and Callie, who we've worked with probably more that with the College of DuPage, is very interested in helping them continue their education and growth, and is always looking at ways to partner even with the high schools, other local institutions too.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's very good. It just takes a little bit more promotion because, technically that's not COD's boundary area technically, although they do reciprocal all the time. So we don't ever want someone to think, oh, well, COD's the lead, maybe I shouldn't be there, or they won't take the step to to look at it further and apply and do what they need to do. So just a little bit more promotion, since of course it's right down the street from Waubonsee. Mm-hmm. All right. My second question, can we get a little bit more information, and this could be for our next meeting, on 548 and their kind of their makeup? And we know all about our direct educational institutions, just to have a little bit more of the 548 Foundation.
Absolutely. I can just mention to you that I know that they've been established since 2019, and one way that I like to think about them is that they provide sort of the union side for labor that the College of DuPage is providing, but we can certainly get you more information. And in fact, I wasn't planning on actually presenting this entire presentation today. I was maybe going to save that for Cal, but then I heard some questions, so I thought I would. I think I will make a slide for both College of DuPage and 548 for the Cal presentation, if that works for all of you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Alderman Burrow.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations. This is great news. We know that water and sewer moved out, and they're at the new shiny building over there, and so it's nice to be able to repurpose this building. My question is that building wasn't in really good shape because they weren't putting money into it because they knew they were leaving. And so with the improvements, I don't recall the discussion or any of that, during the budget process for making improvements to the building. In fact, I don't even know that we discussed this particular project during the budget process. So how are we paying for those improvements? Where are they budgeted? How did we haven't approved anything, I don't recall.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So, number one, all of the current improvements are well under $50,000. And we are actually using donated labor from 548 to do the bathroom improvements. I have to tell you, just to make it ADA compliant actually meant removing items rather than doing a complete remodel. And so it really wasn't that much money. So it wasn't something that we budgeted for, and we're actually not spending that much money. The only thing that we have been paying for was the architectural drawings, as I mentioned, and that was already paid for in 2025. We may have a little bit more additional that we did budget for just for the architectural drawings in this year. The additional improvements we will be doing will also be being covered by either grants or by donated in-kind labor or by donated materials. We're working with a number of entities to ensure that the city does not have to pay a lot of money for that. And as I mentioned, we just received some funding specifically to help with the ADA compliance as well, and to cover a portion of the architectural drawings. So we're really trying to do this on a shoestring budget as much as we can.
Well, that's very, very much appreciated, and we'll be there on the 20th to take a look.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alderman Franco.
Thank you. So I read in here that we're creating an opportunity for living wage, and I've been hearing that for 8 months. Can we define living wage? Do we know what that would be about per hour, per salary per year?
That's probably not a question for me,
Okay.
but I agree that that should probably have some kind of definition. So I don't know what the answer to that is.
Well, I bring it up because we use it a lot, and I think we need to get like a ballpark. Is it $20 an hour? Is it $30 an hour? Is it 50? That type of thing. So we talk about it. At least we have an idea. So if we go talk to our residents, living wage is considered somewhat, in the ballpark with that. And then somewhere else in the message, it says something about local residents. Is local residents mean Aurora residents? And the reason I ask is because we're utilizing resources, taxpayer resources for this. So I would like to make sure that Aurora residents, at a minimum, get priority because we're kind of paying for a little bit of that with some resources and stuff like that. So I just want to define that also.
Sure. We would prefer to see Aurora residents in there. It's not really our, we don't have control over their educational programming, but by actually bringing it here, we're ensuring that more Aurora people are actually going to be part of the program. So I agree that we should do that, but we don't have control over who they let into their program.
And I guess, in a perfect world, we'd like Aurora residents at least first to have opportunity, and then when they get that training, to work in jobs in Aurora. That would be the perfect thing. Now, we know we can't do that, but I think our goal would be keep it as local as possible if we can, because we're kind of utilizing resources, and that would be better. I know there's going to be some exceptions here and there, but I think that could be the goal going forward.
I agree. I think we, and however much you all can help us to identify local businesses that would be willing to hire these students after they go through this program, the better. Because yes, I agree. Would love to see them coming from Aurora and then staying in Aurora and working in Aurora.
Thank you. That's all
Yeah.
I had.
I can reply a little bit there.
Alderman Bug.
Excellent question on the first one, Alderman Franco. I don't know the answer either. But living wage is, it's broken down. So the living wage you're earning as an individual, but you look at the number of family members. So a living wage for you, if you have a family of 6, is different than a living wage for a family of 3 and so forth. I don't have the numbers, but I know that's broken down and it changes every year, kind of like our mileage. You bump it up a couple cents every year, so that changes every year too. So I don't have the new numbers that came out. I don't even know if they're out for January yet, but we should try and get a number on that. We talked about, of course, the people we're trying to reach out to. We talked about it in the Education Commission. And of course, we are, called the hub and even on the Education Commission itself. So we, of course, have Canelan, we have Batavia, we have Oswego. All those superintendents sit in that meeting of the Aurora Education Commission. So not just our base, East Aurora, West Aurora, 204 split, of course. So that is kind of the region where we are the hub. Of course, Waubonsie reaches Sugar Grove, a little bit of Yorkville and that, and then COD, of course, goes quite a bit to the east. But that was kind of the thinking, that we would do all the promotion. A lot of those discussions would be had in the Aurora Education Commission to get the students, to get the people, the word out. And of course, it's centered around Aurora, so that's kind of the feeling. And of course, the hope is, that our residents take full advantage of it being right here at home.
Oh, okay. I have a few things I want to share with you, too.
Great.
And one thing in regards to living wage, I think if you reach out to our local building trades or even the Carpenters Union, it's also referenced here in the document, Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council, you could get some of those numbers in regards to what's going to happen here with some of these new green workers. But what I want to get to from that is, and it'd be great if you bring it to COW and have that information for us, or add it on the docket for the entire city council to be able to see.
Apologies, you want me to bring the
If you
the
find out
hourly
what
rates?
what the rates are, the living wage comparison, what it means, I mean, I think to address the question of Alderman Franco here,
Okay.
a little bit more
I will be
data-driven.
happy to do that.
That's okay?
Yeah, I mean, I will do my best. I cannot obviously promise that these students will make that, but that's obviously the goal, as we're trying to bring these.
Oh, I understand that.
Okay.
I understand that.
Okay.
I mean, I just providing the information
Sure.
potential that's there.
Mhm.
But the other thing, too, I wanted to ask you is, there's also a program in Joliet that the Quad County League Quad County Urban League's involved with. We're not competing with that in any which way, are we, in terms of here locally in Aurora?
I don't think so. As I mentioned, there's 13 of these hubs across the state, so I think that the way they're funded is that they are funded to do slightly
Okay.
different things, but also, trying to understand that when you do education, you're going to need multiple locations. I don't know about that Joliet one specifically.
Okay.
If it's in conflict, I mean, I think the more information people have, the better.
Okay, all right. And are there going to be any upfront costs that the students have to put up for this program?
No.
None, what's it, zero?
My understanding is that it's zero.
Okay,
They do have to take a test to make sure that they are at a certain educational level in order to be accepted into the program. And I think they do provide some assistance to ensure that they can actually pass that test. So I think there's a little bit of time up front, but there should not be any cost to them.
okay, all right. But this is ultimately where I'm getting to, reading the docket. There's a line item here on the second page of the memo, and it says here, the city has taken the first significant step in building towards a comprehensive climate plan. I'm not familiar with any comprehensive climate plan, unless my colleagues are, and I'm not, right now for the city of Aurora. My only concern is, I'm not opposed to moving forward with this project. How does that fit into a climate plan? And if we do not have one, when can we expect to be presented with a comprehensive climate plan to review and to look at and digest, if at all possible?
Yeah, I think that is in reference to the existing climate plan, and that this is the first step on the education and employment component of the climate plan.
Okay, because it says towards, and I'm like,
Sure,
okay, there's something coming.
Yes, no, there's
Okay.
no new climate plan coming, although we are trying to strategically look at the aspects of the plan that we should be working on this year that also encompass economic development. But that's just part of our internal staff work. There's no big plan coming out.
Oh, okay, all right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand here some of these things too myself. So, and then again, what happens when they get these certifications, these students? are they going to go straight into the workforce and being able to earn a living?
I mean, it depends. There's a number of different programs that they can take, as you saw. So depending on what level they're at, yes, they could potentially, some of them are already working for that construction company that is doing the work at Habitat for Humanity. Some of the other programs, though, they may need additional programming in order to actually be work ready. And the students can often go to multiple programs. So they're not just subject to only being able to take one. They could take the next step in the program, for example, and the next step. So, you know, some of them are more work ready than others, is my understanding. And we, as a city, are trying to make more of those connections so that there will be jobs ready. So we're trying to let more of the local businesses understand that this employment pipeline is happening and that these people are available for hire.
Okay, all right. And the assistance going to be provided by this organization? So they're not, what I'm trying to get at is they're not going to be like, okay, here's your certification, nice photo. Are they going to be helped move forward, and by whom? Is it COD? Is it the foundation? Both? Who's going to be helping them moving if they want to move forward?
I mean, my understanding is they have a lot of partners that they're working with to do that, more than I could ever explain. They're working with the other universities, they're working with Goodwill, they're working with a number of job placement places that I don't remember the names of. So yes, this is definitely a part of their programming, and as an additional piece, they're going to start working with the city and the economic development side.
Okay. I would recommend that, you maybe want to present this at COW, or prepare to be present at COW, this presentation. Maybe even put on the docket beforehand, so some
Yes.
aldermen can maybe prepare too as well.
Absolutely.
Before then.
If you don't mind, beyond the 2 slides explaining COD and 548 and then the living wage, is there anything else in the presentation that I could provide that you think would be helpful for COW?
Pictures of the facility might be nice.
Okay, great. I can do that. There was one, but it was really tiny. Also, I do believe that we will have Callie from College of DuPage here on Tuesday to talk about it as well. She's taking a well-deserved vacation today, so she couldn't be here, but she can probably answer a lot more questions about the program than I've been able to.
Yeah. This is a building, our old, our water department, or not a water, water and sewer maintenance were in there. It's empty now. There's adequate parking too on the side there. Right now, we had private entry through key card or push
We
button.
will still be doing that. We will just have the students have their own little key cards to use, so that
Okay.
that will still be closed.
Okay, all right. Ms. Cameron?
Yeah, Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. MIT did put together some living wage guidelines for Illinois and all the states, actually, based on a bunch of different information. They compared it to poverty wage, the federal guidelines, as well as our state's current minimum wage. And for 2025, they say living wage in Illinois, now that's not specific to Aurora, but Illinois is $23.56 an hour if you have 0 children. Up to, they've calculated, this is just with 1 working adult. If you have 3 children with 1 working adult, it's $61.41. And then 2 working adults in the home, it shifts. So it can range, and I can give you this table, so we can put that table up in there as well. Our poverty wage with 0 children is $7.52 an hour, and minimum wage currently in the state is $15 an hour.
Okay. Yeah, any information, that'd be great.
Yep,
for
no problem.
CW.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you say it was $61 an hour or $61,000 a year?
$61.41 an hour is considered, if you
$120,000
have,
a year? Wow.
if you have 1 working
Sure.
adult and 3 children, based on the cost of living, expenses, et cetera. Yeah, it's expensive to live in this economy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
The kids is what made that equation expensive, yeah.
Amen to that. I'll second that one. But, okay, so who has a serious motion here in regard?
Motion
any-
to approve?
Motion
Second.
approved by Alderman Keith Larson, a second by Alderman Dan Barrero. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much for this presentation. I hope we didn't
Thank you.
keep you too long. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
26-0015, a resolution authorizing the 2026 ward neighborhood cleanup and shred events in all wards in the city of Aurora.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Franco, a second by Alderman Bug. And if there's any questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief Jacobs. We know a lot about this subject matter. For those of you at home, it's a boilerplate type of a subject or a resolution that we look at every year, start of the year. So, with that said, Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-0959, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $24,000 from the Illinois Attorney General's Office as part of the 2026 Attorney General's Organized Retail Crime Grant Program.
And before you begin, I just want to say that we're moving into a couple of items that were held over from our last meeting, which is, feels like forever, over our winter break. But we did have a packed agenda, a very uncommonly packed agenda. From what I understand, doesn't happen often. My colleagues here who have served these chairs can probably attest to that. But I did ask to see which ones were not as pressing for emergency or pressing approval. And this was one of the two that I was told can go to the bottom of the list. So I'm trying to get out of here by 5 p.m. So you understand what the situation was. I appreciate your understanding and your return visit on this. I know you had to sit through the whole 2-hour session last time, but it was a little hectic for myself and also for our committee clerk. We did a phenomenal job of helping keep things together here for us in the committee. So with that said, please, your presentation.
All right, thank you. More than willing to do our part there. Good afternoon, Chairman, committee members. This is the first of 2 items I have seeking here to, Tom McNamara, the Administrative Services Lieutenant for the Police Department. This item here is seeking approval to move forward with the resolution to accept a grant award in the amount of $24,000 from the Illinois Attorney General's Office for an organized retail crime grant program. This is an annual program. This would be Aurora's second year getting some sort of funds from this program. The grant would provide $24,000, which is split evenly. $12,000 goes towards reimbursement of overtime for officers to conduct enforcement details in retail corridors. Using the big 2 that we have in town here, we have the Chicago Premium Outlet Mall, the Fox Alley Mall, just for big examples. However, we're not limited to that. We can do details in anywhere that there is some sort of a retail establishment or retail presence. This would also include things such as the Chris Kindle Market and maybe even like Northgate, to anywhere there's like a strip mall type of situation. The other $12,000 is earmarked in the budget here for equipment purchase. The equipment specifically states it's for the purchase of a security trailer, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea. If you've been to any large airport parking lot or anywhere, places such as Las Vegas, it's just a mobile towable trailer. It's pretty small, has a mast that goes up, and it has kind of a pod of cameras at the top. That's what we're looking here for. It would be something we could put a feed live into, either a mobile command post or even the police department, our kick center. It also would have the capabilities to record activity to aid us in our details. Working with accounting, we've identified the budgets that this would go into. There's no cost to the city as far as the general fund would go. The cost on a trailer is over $12,000. We're anticipating somewhere between $30,000 and $35,000, depending on what the bids come back at. Just want to be upfront with that. That money has been budgeted for in 2026 already through the asset forfeiture funds. So it's there waiting for, for this to go forward. So as soon as we were to receive these grant funds, we would be able to move forward with that purchase. There's some time involved in them constructing it and then delivery. With that, I go ahead and open it up to any questions that might be.
I move for approval.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Alderman Dambrero, second by Ed Bug. Question by Alderman Larson.
Yes.
Thank you. This isn't, this might be a question for finance, but just looking at the resolution, it says that it's provided over a 12-month period from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th of this year. Does this mean that once this gets approved, assuming it gets approved through City Council, we get pay for the last few months since last July?
Good question. We will, when we do these grants, we will not conduct any details specific to the grants that is reimbursable until we have council approval, just because there's a potential to run into the situation where we put together a detail, we have expended overtime monies to pay our employees, and then if for whatever reason the grant is not approved or is pulled back before we actually sign the agreement, then there's that kind of gray area of, well, city's already paid for it, but now we don't have money coming in to cover it. So on these, this is a FY26, that's federal fiscal year. That's why you see July 1st through June 30th. We didn't even receive this award until early September. It then goes through a legal process for review. There's a little bit of back and forth. I initially had both of these on an agenda in November. I think it was right before Thanksgiving that meeting was canceled. So we're trying, and that's why we're able to use these. We have details that we can put into place prior to June 30th of this year to fully utilize and get the full benefit out of this. If that answers the question. There's in other words, we're not waiting in arrears for anything. We haven't done anything yet.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering how, if that would affect the payment schedule because of when we're voting on this, but we are in that period, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I got a follow-up question.
All
to
right,
that.
question by Alderman Franco.
So, I'm trying to get the timing on this, because the fact you brought up in November before the shopping season hit, it seems like it would have been a great time to have this. So I guess going forward, if we're gonna get a grant again, we wanna make sure, I guess, we get this approved before the shopping season starts, like the Black Friday thing and stuff like
Yep.
that. So, I didn't realize the timing on that, but that's, I guess that's important. So, I guess we would anticipate getting another grant next year or applying for one and the whole thing, so.
We do anticipate to
Okay.
apply in the future. Just for an example, last year we were in the same position. The grant was not awarded and approved prior to that busy shopping
Sure.
season, or it was right during that time.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing details in May was a busy time. It's never going to go to waste, but yes, having the extra manpower out there during the shopping season would be ideal. And sometimes we're at the mercy of whichever agency is awarding this, because they awarded it after.
Right. So if I can suggest something for next year, if we get it late, and you could ask the third floor if we could just move it right to city council meeting, so we have to go through the 5 to 6 week process on that and get it done quick, if the timing would help us for the shopping season, because I obviously that would be the goal, but sometimes we can move things a little bit faster along if there's an urgent need, and which this would kind of be along those lines.
I would be on board with that 100%.
All right, I just wanted to throw that. Thank you.
Where would it
Appreciate
go after this? We have to apply to the state, right, for the money? I mean, we have to request the money, and then how far out is the state right now in reimbursing their programs? We hear all about their improvements on reimbursement.
Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff, depends on the granting body, usually, how quickly the state, depending on the department in which the grant comes from and their staff, it can vary. In my experience with some of the grants just 2 months, roughly it takes, but some are faster than others.
Okay, all right, thanks so much. So much. I've had my own experience trying to invoice professionally. And it's not always, it doesn't always work very smooth, so my personal experience, but, okay, excellent questions. We have a motion to approve and a second, so all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you and well done, Lieutenant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
25-0960, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $17,736 from the FY26 Illinois Department of Transportation State and Community Highway Safety National Priority Safety Programs Grant.
Hello, me again. Good afternoon again. Tom McNamara, the Administrative Services Lieutenant for the Police Department. This grant here is an Illinois Department of Transportation, State and Community Highway Safety National Priority Safety Programs Grant. To break that down into an easier digestible title, we call it Bike and Pedestrian Safety. It focuses on pedestrians crossing the road safely, pedestrians using their bicycles in a safe and legal manner, whether they're on the roadways or crossing roadways in that manner. The amount that the Aurora Police Department was awarded for FY26 is $17,000, or $17,736. That is all for overtime reimbursement. We did receive the same grant last year. The award amount last year was about $18,500. Things that we've instituted across the department, for just to give you an idea, we hold an annual bike rodeo where officers that are certified in bicycle and bicycle safety, they go out to, typically it's your daycare, not your daycares, but your daycares in which there's children of the age where they're starting to learn how to ride bikes. They might be out and about in a park with their parents. Maybe they have to cross streets in the neighborhood to get there, but they're taught bike safety. They're taught how to properly wear and size a helmet. The parents are taught the same. We do enforcement details. They're more so focused on safety and education and not just writing tickets in areas where there's a high likelihood that we have pedestrians being struck by vehicles. In our town alone, we have had several unfortunate accidents over the years, at least that I've worked here, where that has happened. Things have been instituted to mitigate that, but it never helps to be able to observe that in an enforcement capacity and take that opportunity to educate citizens of the actual laws and why they're in place and why they're important to follow. Lastly, last year we had officers from community policing go to schools and set up a booth where they handed out flyers and educational materials on all of the bicycle safety and pedestrian safety. Anybody that might be live out or have Waubonsie Community College, or sorry, Waubonsie High School in their areas know that students crossing Ogden Avenue is one of our biggest areas of concern. It can get pretty hectic at right before and after school there. Again, working with finance, we identified the accounts that we would be using for this. Those are in the bottom of the Legistar. And that pretty much sums this one up. Any questions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Franco, a second by Alderman Dan Barrero. Any questions in regards to the resolution? No? One. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you again, Lieutenant. There is no need for a closed session.
Motion to
but-
adjourn?
Motion adjourned by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Dan Barrero. But before we close, I did come back with a New Year's resolution for myself on this committee and moving forward. For those gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen that work behind the scenes and wear microphones, I will do my best to not tap on my microphone or to cough into my microphone, because I'm sure that bothers you very much. So, and it surprises you when it happens. So With that said, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned at 3:50. Thank you, one and all.